I wanna be like you. I wanna walk like you. Talk like you do. You say it's true. Connect like me. And life is you.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to SoCal Exploring, and I know this is a bit different. Usually you guys are used to seeing my face, but in this video I am having a little bit of mic problems, so I don't really want to film with the camera and have bad mic quality, so I figured I'd film it just all voice and have clips and such playing as some YouTubers already do it. So I'm sorry if this is a bit different, but you know, change is good sometimes. But this isn't going to be a permanent thing just until I get my mic fixed and such. But as right now, this is how it's going to be for the next like 1-2 videos, and that's it. Then I'll have a new mic by then. Enough with the nonsense. So today I'm going to be bringing you the pros and cons of Holidayz in Hell at Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood for this year. So this is a series where I like to break down the pros and cons of different Universal announcements and Halloween Horror Night announcements, and basically break down what is pro about them and what is con, and just really dive into each of those pros and cons. Like I say before every video though, check out my social media at SoCal Exploring Media on Instagram and at SoCal Exploring on Twitter. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and check out my website www.socalexploring.com for all the latest updates as far as theme parks go, Horror Nights goes, all that good stuff. We're going to start off on a positive note with a pro, and that is the fact that it is an original maze coming to Hollywood. Now normally we don't see original mazes here at the Hollywood event, we see them over there in the Orlando event. As some of you Orlando fans I'm sure are very happy about that you get the best of both worlds. Well, here in Hollywood we don't get that. We only get about, actually none, original mazes every year. It's rare that we get them. We get them like every 3 years or so. It's not a set basis, but as far as what I remember, that's like how we've been getting them as far as original mazes go. We did get Universal Monsters last year, but that really wasn't an original maze. It was more of an original take on other movies. There's definitely a pro that Murdy is bringing us an original maze this year. Usually he always writes a script for them, but they always fall through when it comes to the cutting block, which I'm very happy that we're actually getting an original maze this year, which is Holidayz in Hell. Obviously some original mazes come out bad, but some of them come out amazing, and I believe that this one is going to come out really good, so that's why I'm very excited for the original maze to finally be back at Hollywood. I think my last favorite original maze was Clowns, and a lot of people didn't like that, but I truly did enjoy that Clowns maze. So that was like the last original maze that I really can remember. Moving over to the con side, which was the fact that we saw this theme last year. Not in a maze, but we saw it in a scare zone. So if you guys are new to the event and this is your first year going, but we saw Holidayz in Hell last year in a scare zone. It was down in the backlot section of the park during the event. Although this is a lot different in a maze, we did see it last year. That's the point that I'm trying to say, is we saw all these themes that are actually going to be coming to the maze in last year's scare zone. And this scare zone was kind of already like a gauntlet you'd walk through and stuff, and it was like this own set path. It was like a maze already. The way that I like to describe it is it was basically an outdoor maze, but in scare zone formation kinda. Nonetheless, the fact that we saw the theme last year and that it's coming back this year is a con in itself, because we don't know if it's going to be improved, or we don't know if it's going to go down, or just going to be the same stuff that we saw as last year. And the way that Murdy has described it at the HHN panel during Monsterpalooza is that we are going to be seeing something different compared to the scare zone last year. We're going to be seeing new characters as well as new sets, so that's something positive to look forward. But then again, we have seen it last year, so in my book it is a negative con, and I'm sure in a lot of people's books they don't want to see it again, but you just got to give the maze a chance. Another pro is the fact that we're going to be seeing new characters compared to last year's scare zone. Now, like I said in the con right now, yes, we are going to be seeing the same characters that we did in the scare zone into this maze, but there will also be new characters as well. For example, Murdy said that we're going to be seeing characters like Baby New Year, the Firework Kid, Party Revelers, and Nightmare Nurse. The Nightmare Nurse sounds really cool, guys. I'm really excited for the Nightmare Nurse, and the concept art that they showed for that looks beautiful and looks absolutely terrifying. That's a plus for us fans. Yes, we are going to be seeing the returning characters from last year's scare zone. Some of them were fan favorites actually. Like, I know the Easter Bunny was one of my favorites, but we're also going to be getting new characters. It won't just be the same exact characters that we saw as the last year. I think that it is very positive that we are going to be getting new characters in this actual maze, and it's good that Murdy decided to add new characters into this maze, or else it would have been really bad as far as crowd-wise goes, criticism goes, and just overall fan reviews on this maze, that just like seeing the same characters wouldn't work very well. So it is a pro that we're going to be getting new characters each of the theme sections, is what Murdy confirmed at Monsterpalooza. Another con is the fact that the facade is corny, guys. Now, for those of you there at the panel last Tuesday or last Sunday, he said that the facade is going to be a giant postcard themed to an old vintage postcard from New Year's, like just way back in the day. It is going to be a postcard, guys. The facade is literally going to be a postcard. I took to Instagram and Twitter and everything after this was announced, and I was just like, it's going to be a postcard, like really? But the fact that it's going to be a postcard, it can either turn out great, decent, or just complete not that great, and we enter from the side and it's just a giant postcard, like I said. Something similar to Orlando's Blumhouse last year. I don't know if you guys have seen that facade, but if you search up Orlando's Blumhouse facade, it was literally just a square. And it's a Blumhouse on it. So I'm not really looking forward to the facade of this maze. I mean, I think it's going to be really corny unless they have some visual effects on it and such. And it's like kind of 3D-ish. But if it's just one-dimensional, just flat piece of cardboard, you know, facade like that, I don't really like that at all. I don't think that it's going to be very aesthetic at all, as facades are meant to be, unless it's in a soundstage, and usually there aren't that many facades in sound stages when they do have soundstage mazes. But I just think that this facade is going to be corny, and I'm sure a lot of you guys can agree on that it's not going to be the best looking facade at the event. So that's a little disappointing, but hopefully the maze is actually good. A third pro on my list is the fact that Dark Christmas' Scare Zone will be coming back, guys. And now if you guys have been going to Horror Nights for a while, you remember Dark Christmas. It was on French Street, I believe. I don't know, either one of those streets. It was on the first street that led you to Despicable Me. It was called the Dark Christmas Scare Zone. Now, Murdy did confirm after we get out of the Christmas area in the maze, we are going to be led into a scare zone as we were Universal Monsters last year, into the Monster Masquerade. We will be led into the Dark Christmas Scare Zone. Now, I don't know if this is the exact name that they're going to be using for this scare zone, but I'd assume so, because we're going to be seeing returning characters like Jack Frost. One of my favorite characters I've ever seen at the event. Jack Frost is a costume and makeup, the way that he runs around and scares people. I absolutely love that character. We're also going to be seeing the evil elves returning into that scare zone as well. We'll be getting new characters such as the Nutcracker Stiltwalker. Baby New Year is going to be running around there, and other characters that are new and returning. They're all going to be in there running around scaring you at the end of the maze. I'm super excited about, guys. The Dark Christmas Scare Zone is going to be very good, and it was one of my favorite scare zones that we've had in the past years of HHN. I mean, it came back 2 years, that's how good it was, because fans rated it very good. It's just one of those scare zones that makes you like really happy walking through it. It gives you that Christmas vibe, even though you're in the Halloween season, you're getting close to that Christmas season, you know, and it just really gives you a good vibe, and it's a fun scare zone. They have lights flashing and everything. It's a really fun scare zone, and I really do like the concept of having a maze lead into a scare zone. I really like that. I really enjoyed it with Monster Masquerade last year after Universal Monsters. I really did enjoy that, where you just get out of a maze and lead right into a scare zone. So I'm sure I'm going to be happy about getting out of Holidayz and now and leading right into the Dark Christmas Scare Zone. I'm going to talk about one more final con, and that's the factor of the scare factor. Will it be low, guys? Now, I'm very concerned about this maze because I don't know if it's going to be scary or not. I'm very concerned about the scare factor in a sense of there's only so much you can do when you've already had this in a scare zone. Are they going to have predictable scares where it's big flashing lights or boo holes or anything like that? Or are there going to be clever scares where Santa pops out of a sleigh and scares the living hell out of you guys? I want scares like that, but the only thing that I'm afraid about is the fact that this could be a low scare maze. It could be just like last year where they kind of have the characters running around. I know last year was a scare zone. Obviously, they're supposed to be running around the scare zone. But they could just basically put a tent over this maze and say, okay, scare actors, go do what you did last year and just run around in the maze. Which I'm kind of afraid of because I want these scares to be very good. From the characters that they described, the characters look like they'd scare the living crap out of you if they jumped out and big strobe lights started flashing and you got scared, or Santa popped out of a sleigh and scared the crap out of you. The Satan Santa, that would be terrifying. Or maybe he's crawling up from like the ground because, you know, he comes from hell. That would be cool too. I just really hope that there's not predictable scares like that, but unfortunately the way that I'm leaning towards right now, I believe that there's going to be predictable scares and a lot less scary scares. Like in Stranger Things last year, a lot of people said that Maze wasn't scary, and I can agree on that. It wasn't that scary. So I can see there being scares like that in Holidayz in Hell, which I'm kind of upset about. But once again, we have not gone through the maze ourselves. We haven't even seen pictures of it, so we don't know yet, guys. I'm just putting this on my con list right now because that's what I think about the maze and the scare factor. I'm going to end my list with a pro, and that is the fact that there can be a lot more detail in a maze visually wise. So they did describe in the panel that like during the 4th of July scene, there's going to be visual firework effects and stuff. And throughout the maze, there's going to be a lot more visual effects. Obviously, compared to a scare zone in a maze you can do a lot more cool effects. You can do a lot more lighting effects and visual effects and explosions and sounds and all that sorts of stuff you can put into a maze compared to a scare zone. So I'm very excited that it is actually going to be in a maze and we can see a lot more visual effects that we couldn't see with the actual scare zone last year. That's the thing about this theme, is I feel like there's a lot of visual effects that they can do with actual theming, like maybe snow falling on the walls and such, and just like the fireworks from the 4th of July. There's a lot more theming like that they can do with this actual Holidayz in Hell theme that they weren't able to do in the scare zone. So I'm very happy that they're going to be able to do it in the actual maze, unless they don't pull it off right. But I really do see Murdy targeting the fact that it is going to be in a maze this year, and that he can have a lot more room to work with as far as visually goes. So I'm very excited for that. I'm very excited at the fact that there's going to be a lot more detail in this compared to a scare zone where there's just small little props and such like that. And there's going to be a much larger sets in a maze. Obviously in a maze, like I've said before, you can do a lot more. You can place a lot bigger sets, and compared to just small little push carts that you push a devil Easter bunny in. I know they probably didn't push that in every night, but it was just one of those things where you can kind of pick it up and move it. So I'm very happy that there's going to be big sets in this actual maze. There will be visual effects, and I'm hoping that there's no black walls, but this gives us room for less worries about black walls because of the fact that there could be bigger sets and more visual effects and more stuff to take up those and replace those black walls that Murdy likes to use. So I'm very excited about that, guys. Overall, I'm extremely excited about Holidayz in Hell coming. So overall, I believe that this maze is going to be a pro. I think I'm going to start doing that at the end of all my pros and cons videos, saying that if this is more of a pro or a con. Last week's video, Stranger Things, I'm going to say that was more of a pro, and I think Holidayz now, I'm going to edge it more on the pro side as well. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe. I do videos like this all the time, guys. I do Horror Nights videos, Universal videos, Disneyland videos, SeaWorld videos, all that stuff. And also, me and Savannah are bringing back the podcast. If you don't know who Savannah is, she is my duo on this channel. You may see her on some of the vlogs and such, but we are going to be bringing back the podcast, talking about all this stuff, and I think our first podcast topic is going to be about HHN, so that should be interesting. So subscribe if you want to see all that content, guys, and turn on those bell notifications if you want to be notified every time I upload a new video. Like I said earlier, make sure to check me out on social media at SoCal Exploring Media on Instagram, at SoCal Exploring on Twitter. And make sure to check out my brand new website, guys. I literally launched it like 3 weeks ago, and it is doing so amazing. I thank you guys all for that. I'm really happy with how the website's doing. Go to your web browser, go to Google, go to my Instagram bio, www.socalexploring.com, to keep up to date with all the latest theme park news, horror news, and all that good stuff. It's all on there. Every news release that comes out will go on my website. Every press release that I get from all these theme parks will go on my website, and you guys will be the first to know about it, because I try to strive to bring the best possible coverage from all these theme parks and events to you guys. So with that being said, the video is now over. Positivity is key. Do not let those negative barriers get in your way in life. I love you all, and just remember to keep exploring. Peace. Everyone cashed out. They got the